Righty, another trade period done and dusted, and we've managed to bring in 3 new recruits into the brown and gold. Can you firstly tell us a little bit about Jack Scrimshaw?
Yeah, Jack's a young guy from Melbourne, Sandringham Dragons boy, former pick number 7, been up at the Gold Coast. Obviously we were able to bring him in a little bit cheaper than pick number 7, but we're rapt to be able to get him. He's got real talent, plays off half back, left footer, uses the ball really well, quite tall, a little bit like Grant Birchall, who he's been likened to, but things didn't work out for him at the Gold Coast. Probably wanted to get back to Melbourne, but someone who's going to need to work really hard, and we've obviously told him that, and we're hoping he can come in and have an impact.
Tom Skully, obviously a former number 1 draft pick, but he did have that injury this year. Do you know the severity of his ankle injury, and can you tell us a bit about what he might bring to the club?
Yeah, really severe ankle injury where he had a syndesmosis injury, a dislocation of his ankle, quite a complicated fracture that obviously was pinned and had a plate in it. All of that's come out. He had another operation which was done about 7 weeks ago. So he's probably 5 or 6 weeks away from actually loading that ankle up again and running again. But we think he's got a real chance to get through that, obviously, and we'll back our medical team in to do really well there. But listen, a little bit of a risk, a little bit of the unknown with it, but certainly our guys are confident we can get him back.
And lastly, Chad Wingard, obviously an All-Australian. What can he bring to the club? Yeah,
real talent, Chad, obviously. 25 years old. I think he's a dual All-Australian, best and fairest winner at Port Adelaide. A highly talented player, and can play forward, can play midfield, and has a real genuine ability to go in through the midfield. He averaged 30 possessions in the back half of the year playing as a midfielder. So we feel as though he can play that dual role for us. He's exciting, can mark the footy really well, kicks lots of goals. So we think he can add a lot to us. Exactly where the coach is playing, well, that'll be up to the coaches.
It was the trade that got everyone talking. Chad came in, but Birdo and some picks went to Port. How did those negotiations play out?
Yeah, they were long-winded and obviously got down to the last day, but we were pleased they were done in the morning of the last day, and really tied up in a really big deal that involved about 6 clubs, 5 or 6 players, a lot of picks going different places. So the negotiations took quite a while, and obviously out of that, Birdo's ended up with Port Adelaide. So we're disappointed about that, but out of every opportunity comes a cost somewhere, and we're unfortunately we traded Ryan. So from that perspective, we wish him really well, and he's a high quality young man and a really good young player. So I'm sure Port have got something that they wanted, and we were able to obviously get Chad through the door. But out of all these conversations and trades, there's certainly opportunity costs, I suppose.
And Taylor DeRay also went to the Bulldogs. How did that deal get done?
Yeah, that was quite easy. Obviously, we swapped a 4th round or future 4th round selection for Taylor DeRay. We had offered Taylor a contract, so we were quite happy for him to explore free agency to see if there was something else out there for him. We'd offered him a 1-year deal. Bulldogs offered him a 2-year deal. He decided to take that offer up, and he's been a fantastic servant to our footy club for a long period of time, and a dual premiership player, much loved member of our team as well, and our club and the playing group. So it was disappointing to see him go, best clubman at our awards a couple of weeks ago. So disappointing to see him go, but really happy that he's got a 2-year opportunity at the Bulldogs.
And your final deal was done quite early yesterday, but it has gone down to the wire before. Just how stressful is that last half an hour in trade week?
Yeah, well, there was a few teams going through it last night, and I was pleased one of them wasn't us, obviously. Yeah, it is. It's a very stressful time. You make a commitment to get the player in, and you do everything you possibly can too, but the reality is it might not happen. And yeah, a couple of the clubs were sort of dealing with that last night, and I'm pleased it wasn't us. But yeah, as I said, it is a stressful time for the player, for the clubs, and obviously us trying to do the deals.
And looking ahead to the draft, we're going to enter at pick 53 at the moment. Will we try and do some live trading ahead of the draft to improve our draft order?
We may do. We haven't decided on that just yet. At this stage, we've got 53 and 90. They'd be our 2 picks. We'd probably only have 2 picks. With us upgrading Connor Glass onto the list means we only have to have 2 instead of the normal 3. That's where we sit right at the moment. But with the live trading being in now during the draft, but also too the trading of picks being available from today for another month, we've got an opportunity to potentially trade a future pick. I'll leave that to Mark McKenzie and his team. We've robbed them of their picks. Mark's first year in full control of everything, so I'm sure they'll do a really good job, and they'll put just as much effort into pick 53 as they would pick 1, and I'm sure they'll come up with a good player for us.